Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to
What's
a
up?
brand new episode of Hockeytown Rundown. You're here with us, your beautiful hosts, once again, Carlo and Zach. What is going on, buddy? How we doing this Sunday?
Feeling platty. Both of us.
Would agree.
I'm going to go with
I can ditch
platty.
with that. Yeah,
Aren't you
platinum,
glad
for
you
sure.
stopped by for today's episode? We're done. That's it. Show's
That's it.
over, folks.
That's the episode. We'll see y'all on the next one. Just kidding. Stick around. Find out what we're going to talk about on this one. Thanks for joining us once again on this brand new episode. If you are returning, if you are brand new, thank you as always for stopping by. If you are watching or listening to us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell that lets you know when these brand new episodes come out. You can also watch and listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on all the major social media platforms as well: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those places. And without further ado, Carlo, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's do it.
We're going to recap all the games that happened this week, some more than others, especially the Rangers. I think it's very obvious what happened in the New York Islanders game. Carlo has a lot to say about that one. And then the exciting game that happened last night, the afternoon matinee game at 1 p.m. against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's start with the standings for the Detroit Red Wings.
It's a very interesting breakdown here, my friend, because the Detroit Red Wings are currently first place in the Atlantic. However, they are also 1 point out of a wild card spot. So that just goes to show you how tight things are. And go back to what I said a few weeks ago, racehorse mindset. You need to be very aware of these standings. You need to be very aware of the teams in your division, in your conference even. And you need to be looking at who's right behind you, but also right next to you at the same time. And you got to use that as power to keep pushing through, because it is insanely tight, way tighter than the West. Like if you peek around both of them, it's wild. Like it's wild.
Now, just touching on just the Atlantic Division alone, the Detroit Red Wings and their goal differential are actually a -5. There's one team with a plus goal differential. That would be the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are right behind us in the standings with 1 point. We have one game on hand for them. Everyone else is 0 or they're in the minus, just like how we are. So like you mentioned, it is very close. You look at even the Metropolitan, there's only 2 teams that are negative over there. So Carlo, the question begs, is the Atlantic actually good, or are we just disguising it?
Man, the Atlantic, I think, is actually underperforming, to be quite honest with you. I think the Eastern Conference is underperforming, but the Atlantic specifically, I just think teams have been going through it, all of them. And this is a result, because when you look at the Western and you look at the divisions in the Western Conference, it tells a little bit of a different story. And I mean, you were mentioning earlier, like a lot of teams are banged up. There's a lot of injuries in a lot of teams that are in the Atlantic or the Eastern Conference. So that obviously plays a role. But yeah, dude, it's kind of weird, man. Like it's like I said, like you keep winning, you probably stay in first. You lose one, you're dropping substantially. Like that's wild. And I honestly think it's probably going to be like this the whole way through. I think you're going to have a couple teams that are going to figure it out and get healthy and then start going on some runs. We obviously hope the Red Wings are one of those teams, but it's really, really weird, and it's so hard to predict anything right now because it's just so tight.
Have you ever seen the Netflix show Stranger Things, and they have the, what is it called? The Upside Down world? That's kind of what it feels like for not only just the Atlantic, but slightly the Eastern Conference as a whole.
Yeah.
Kind of like you said, it's very weird. It's very strange. People probably didn't have Boston pegged up there, right? Considering of all the changes they made last season. You touched on the injuries as well, and touching on that, the Boston Bruins even have 5 injuries. Buffalo Sabres, they got 4. Montreal has 4. Maine injuries, they're out for months plus. Ottawa Sens, they got 4. Tampa Bay, they have 5. Florida Panthers have 4. Toronto Maple Leafs, they have 7 injuries with Austin Matthews, Nyes, and a couple of other players as well. The Detroit Red Wings with 2, and Simon Edmondson, it sounds like that he may be out with the bug. We talked about that before our recording. And then Elmer Soderblom, he is retroactive IR, officially stated this morning, and the team has recalled Erik Gustafsson. So let's touch on that, why they made the decision to go with Erik Gustafsson.
Yeah, like I look at it as Edmondson is either really, really sick and he's going to miss, maybe another game or 2. Todd mentioned post-game after the Columbus game that Edmondson didn't even come in. Like he didn't even show up. So he must have been like super, super sick. So, hopefully he's all right. But if that's the case, that's probably why Gus is here, to get that sorted out. They had the opportunity to bring up some some extra D because Soderblom's injured, so he's on IR retroactive to, I think it was November 9th or something like that. Now, how does it work? Like, is he going to play? Maybe. Is it for PP2? And are they going to sit ASP for a game? Not send him down, but maybe sit him so they have a power play quarterback in Eric Gustafsson, who's done it before. Is he going to be in that power play 2 spot? I mean, those are the only things that really would justify this move and why they would do it. But we don't know yet. We got to kind of see what happens with practice and skates to see where he's slotting in, or if he's even slotting in, or if he's truly just sitting as an extra just in case.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you actually want to touch on that. You briefly did. You brought up ASP, and it doesn't sound like that you think he'll be sent down. I personally don't think he'll be sent down.
No.
The analytics don't lie when it comes to the post-game scores that we see online. Yeah. Some fans will also call it out. Do you think that there may be a possibility that Tom McClellan, Steve Yzerman think that it would be good for ASP or the Detroit Red Wings team to send someone down to the Grand Rapids Griffins like ASP?
I don't think so, man. Listen, ASP needs to figure out how to do what he needs to do in the NHL. You send him down to the AHL, he's going to make the same type of errors because his size. He's an offensive defenseman. He's not meant to play D. And then, I'll quickly touch on some of these defensive deployments that we've caught, or at least I've been paying attention to the last, 5 games or so. But, you take the game against the Islanders, ASP and Ben were taking all the D zone draws. I don't know why, because when Detroit's winning and they're playing like good hockey, it's Mo and Ed taking the defensive zone draws, and Ben and ASP are taking all the offensive zone draws, which makes sense. Like, limit how much defense ASP needs to play, and go look at the score sheets. He's not at the bottom. Like, he's playing. He's actually doing well and contributing good things for the team when he's deployed properly. So I don't really know what's going on with the deployment. I don't know if it's, are they leaning on Ben Sherratt way too much to size up against the other team's big bodies, and that's why he's in the D zone with his partner ASP? Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, why can't Mo and Ed take care of that? You know what I mean? Those guys are units as well. So the last few games, the defensive deployment has been a little strange, and I notice it's a lot different from when this team wins. And when they're playing their winning ways, the deployment does look different, and it ends up being better for the outcome.
Oh, it does. And at this point, why don't we just go ahead and touch on the games that happened this week? Moving backwards to November 16th, the Detroit Red Wings played a Centennial game against the New York Rangers. Both teams, it was a red versus blue game. Dude. Those jerseys, that color combo, Carlo, the NHL needs to do that a lot more moving forward. Not just wearing the Centennial jerseys for any team, but just 2 home jersey colors. It just looks so much better out there on the ice. It looked really good on TV. I can only imagine how it looked in person. So whoever went to that game, I'm really super jealous of you.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful game to watch, man. It was awesome. And it was one of those games too where it was pretty, like, I don't want to say it was tight, because Detroit kind of smacked them around in terms of like shots, chances, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the score makes you think it was a bit of a tight game. And listen, Jonathan Quick, he just has it figured out against the Red Wings. He puts on a show almost every time, and credit to him. I think he's up there in age too. And yeah, I mean, it's always fun to watch Johnny Quick. He's an absolute stud, but it sucks when he's playing against the Wings, because you know what you're in for. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fun game. Dude, it could have been 0-0 and it could have ended 0-0, and I still would have enjoyed watching that game because of 100%. the jersey matchup, man. It was awesome. Really, really cool.
Yep, within this game, you did have Alex DeBrincat open up the scoring with a power play goal going into the second period. It was a fantastic goal. Got the boys going, continued the momentum that they wanted, but then Miko Zibanejad, not too far along, ended up tying up the game with a power play goal himself. And then Lucas Clutch Mode Raymond. Absolute clutch goal. Just skating around the net, going out into the slot, beating Jonathan Quick. Quick just kind of fell onto the ground thinking that he was going to go a close side with it, and then just kind of top corner with it on the opposite side. Lucas Raymond just absolutely made him look like a beer league goalie, essentially, in the whole entire New York Rangers team. But overall in this game, Carlo, there were quite a number of calls that, for both sides, I think for the Detroit Red Wings fans and New York Rangers fans, that were very questionable. There was that call against Moritz Seider that he flipped the puck out of bounds. They called it, I believe it was delay of game. The puck never crossed the blue line.
So weird.
Some people thought you could have challenged it. It's such a weird rule that I think it's discretionary based on the refs, on how they're feeling that day. And that's what costed the Red Wings the goal. Now, on the flip side, right after that, the New York Rangers got called for, I believe it was hooking on Simon Edmondson. I can't remember exactly which player it was, but it was a little weak, I would agree. But it did look like that the New York Rangers player was holding onto the stick a little bit, but it didn't convert into a goal. So which is more egregious? The one that ended up becoming a goal or the one that didn't? Or can we easily just sit here and say that the refs need to do a better freaking job at their jobs?
Yeah, the officiating's been rough. Very, very rough this season. It's really starting to turn into the ref show, and that's obviously dictating the pace of the game, the momentum swings of the game, and then ultimately the outcome of the game. And that sucks, man. Like, to let the players play, let them figure out what the outcome's going to be for themselves. Just stay out of it and call what needs to be called. Like, these soft penalties, man, are just so annoying. And now the embellishment, like, what are we doing? They're calling a penalty. They're calling embellishments. Like, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I have to call that out because it supports the comment and the take that these refs just they're out of their minds right now, dude. Like, relax. Put the whistle away for 5 minutes.
I just don't know how you can embellish falling onto the ice when you clearly get tripped up and someone else.
Yeah, dude. I didn't fall too hard. Like, what happened here? Well, I don't get that.
Yeah, I think maybe some words might have been said before that. Obviously, Kane did say something afterwards too, as he was walking to the penalty box. So who knows? But the one thing about this New York Rangers game, Carlo, obviously, is when Mason Appleton, right as the buzzer was going, not a couple seconds after, like Jonathan Quick likes to make it seem.
Yeah, it was like a second after the buzzer went. The buzzer was still going. Like, the sound of the buzzer was still playing when he shot that puck. I mean,
all mayhem broke loose.
I don't know, dude. Like, listen, if somebody did that and the buzzer was off, I would have snapped too. But Jonathan Quick I don't want to say he was right to snap because, like, I feel like it was so close to that buzzer going off that it's like it could go either way. But I don't know, man. He must have been having a bad day. Like, I think he was still pissed off at the 2 goals he let in and that then they lost the game and then he just snapped and he needed an excuse to do that. But honestly, the Rangers, I kind of thank him though because we would have never got that picture. That picture is unreal.
It is. I did partake in the challenge of making the background on your phone. It currently still is the background on my phone with Emmett Finney right there. You can see Patrick Kane. You can see Van Riemsdyk.
Yep.
The goalies
Finney,
and everything.
That's a great shot of Finney too. He was kind of yoked up in that picture.
It gave you 1926 vibes. Truly, it did. And we never got to experience that. Obviously, I may look and feel like I'm 100 years old, but I'm not.
Yes.
No, after that, it was... Is it worse to, I guess, do that after the buzzer, or is it worse to when Jonathan Quick wasn't even in the net? He was pulled, right? The buzzer goes, doesn't even count. It is what it is. Is it worse to do that, or is it worse to shoot the puck on the goalie we're saying a couple seconds after the buzzer?
Probably worse to do that.
I just don't understand the reason why Jonathan Quick, to me personally, would get so, I'm just going to say it, butthurt about it.
Oh yeah.
And then
the loss doesn't help at home. I mean, you're an athlete, you're a pro athlete, you're competitive. You played out of your mind. You lose the game on home ice. That happens. You snap. He started seeing red. Well, you know what I noticed though? Like, none of the players on the ice cared.
No.
Not one single player was
except for Quick.
Pissed off. Well, yeah, but I'm saying on the ice, like players on the ice during that play on the Rangers side did not care. And then Quick comes flying off the bench and like flying, and he's seeing red, literally and figuratively. So yeah, I don't know what's worse. I think doing it on an empty net's always worse. If the goalie's in the net, he can just dust the puck away, whatever, right? So, I mean, that's not that big of a deal. But empty net, it's always going to be a little bit of a stinger. But I don't think there was enough there to for that outcome. But I'm grateful that it was the outcome, like I said, because we got some sweet. Somebody got paid. Whoever took that picture is getting paid. That was nuts.
Oh, yeah, that's photo of the year in the NHL, 100%. I don't think you're going to find anything better than that.
Yep.
But yeah, no secret, the New York Rangers, they suck at home. It is what it is. So
yeah,
that might be resigning within quick to do what he did in quick reaction to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
And then fortunately, the Red Wings were able to continue their winning streak, moving over to the Seattle Kraken, winning 4-2. But once again, it was a very, very close game, Carlo. It was only 4-2 because they were able to get an empty netter towards the end. But the Seattle Kraken opened up the scoring in this game on a power play goal, which to me signaled, oy vey, here we go again. It's going to be another game where we have to play catch up, which we did. Fortunately, Lucas Raymond was able to tie it up into the second period. Nate Danielson getting his first career NHL point and career goal, assisted by Appleton and Sandin Pellikka.
His second goal was beautiful.
He got 2 goals. One got called back, and I'm really sad for him because that second goal was a beauty. It was a
McDavid, dude. Totally McDavid-like. I'm not comparing him to McDavid, but that play, the way he made and cut in, that was totally a McDavid-esque type of goal. It was awesome. It's too bad that he got called. I think that could have went either way, but anyways.
Yeah, it was very weird because the puck fluttered. Emmett Finney didn't really not really trying to pick on Emmett Finney here, but he definitely could have dragged his feet a little bit.
Yeah.
Granted, it is what it is. The refs made their call. That puck was on the blue line as everything was transpiring. So it's one of those discretionary things too. And it's no secret that the refs will do anything in their power to make the game more competitive, more even in terms of allowing, whether if it's a washout game, getting it blown out, the refs will do anything in their power to help out the other team that is losing at that time. And that so happened to be the Seattle Kraken, which then they did tie it up 2-2 later on in the second period. But Emmett Finney coming back, finally getting a point. What was it? I think he went 11 games without getting a point or scoring a goal, assisted by Nate Danielson. So Nate Danielson also gets his first career NHL assist, and assisted by Andrew Kopp as well. And then Dylan Larkin putting in the empty netter for, I believe that was his 600th career point in the NHL, Carlos. So congrats to our captain on that.
Big claps. That's a big milestone for sure. Huge. It's awesome. It's very, very impressive. You know, the one thing I want to say though, before Danielson scored, you know, credit to the coaching staff for switching up before Finney scored, switching up the lines, because that second line was just getting beat again.
Mm-hmm.
Not a shock, but then they moved Finney down to the third line with Danielson, and we saw some really nice plays start happening there, which was really, really cool. So quick little shout out to the coaching staff for making that adjustment. They moved Finney from the second line, who really wasn't doing much, down to the third line with Dano, and away they went. It was really, really cool. They had several chances, man. It was nice to see. So we'll see how pay attention to that third line, see how that plays out. But, you know, touching back on that second line real quick, dude, they are just getting outworked every game. Every single game, they're getting outworked.
Yeah, sorry, not meaning to cut you off here, but is that good? Because it definitely seems like it's, I hate to say it like this, but it's definitely because of a lack of talent there. I still firmly believe, because we made the call out, that we would like to see more of an all-gas line, even if it's just for a shift or two. I would love to see still Emmett Finney, Marco Kasper, Nate Danielson make that the second line, at least for a game. You probably will have to find the right team for it, but like we mentioned earlier in this episode, everyone's so tight within the standings, there may not be an opportunity where we can do that.
Yeah, it's too risky defensively.
As competitive as possible.
Risky to do that defensively too.
Very risky. I do want to make the call out real quick too that with Emmett Finney, Nate Danielson, and actual Sandin Pellikka getting points in this game, that's 3 rookies from the 2023 NHL draft. The future is here, folks. So y'all should be getting very excited about that.
And I just want to correct myself. Finney is not on the third line anymore, because I think they popped him back up to the top line yesterday, which we'll get to. But for that game against Seattle, he did make it down to the third line with Dano, and it was effective. But present day, it looks like he's back on the top line, and then DeBrincat's on that second line with Kane. The question then becomes, and this is the elephant in the room, is JT Compher a second line center? It's a unanimous no. The guy's That guy is a vanilla milkshake, man. But then again, it's like, well, what else do they do? Like, I think that strikes up the most balance for this team to roll 4 lines, unfortunately, but they desperately need a second line center. We talked about this in the offseason. All of our attention, everybody's attention was on left wing 1. Who's going to fill the left wing 1 spot, right? Finney comes out of nowhere, fills that spot, but the way things are like slotted now, that problem didn't go away. It just moved down to the second line center spot because Casper he's having a hardcore sophomore slump, dude.
Do we want to touch on that real quick?
I mean, it segues right into it, so you're more than welcome to, and then we can get into the other games, but the holes just keep moving around. It's like whack-a-mole. Like you shoot one down, another one pops up, right? And that's just the nature of the beast right now with this team. And yeah, go ahead and touch on Casper, because I know you wanted to bring that up and have a conversation about that.
Yeah, just real quick, and I hate to say it like this, it's not a I told you so, because I did see that there was an issue with Marco Kasper, and obviously sophomore slumps are going to happen, right?
Yes.
But this one seems to be...
It's not going away.
Hopefully it's not for the whole season, but it's very pertinent within Marco Kasper right now. So we reached out to Bench Rates. We were very curious to learn more on the analytical side with Marco Kasper, maybe a little bit more that they may know than what we can find out. And we know that some Wings fans are interested to learn more about what's going on with him, only having 3 points in 20 games. He was actually, we'll call it, Carlo, he was demoted to the 4th line against the Columbus Blue Jackets. He started the season as the 2 seed, going all the way back down to the 4th line in their 21 games that they played so far this season. So Bench Rates reached back out to us. When Marco Kasper is on the ice, the team creates less expected goals, scores less, and allows goals against more than average. His on-ice performance is close to the average for the team, and a year ago, it all looked much better. Plus, he didn't create many expected goals individually either, just one more goal than now. That is, they can't say that he's unlucky, and I would agree with them. I don't think it's unlucky at this point. I think Marco Kasper is just having and it's hard to say this, but it's the truth. He's having a really shitty season.
He is. And I'm sure he would admit that and tell you that too. He's got to get out of it. He's got to get out of the muck because he's in it. He's in one right now, and it's lasting a long time. Like he's got to get it together.
Now, when it comes to the lines, and let's say this because we touched on JT Compher. Obviously, he's not a 2C. He probably shouldn't even be in the top 6. Same thing with Andrew Kopp, and that's the issue with this team is that you look at, there's the core 4. There's Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, Alex DeBrincat. Firmly believe if anyone has doubts that Alex DeBrincat won't be on this team, Steve Yzerman will do everything in his power to make sure that man is extended with this Detroit Red Wings team. And then there's Moritz Seider. Marco Kasper, even outside of Emmett Finney, the bright young kids, doesn't really have anyone that he can play with. The best lines that he has played with so far this season, based on the analytics, was with Alex DeBrincat, Marco Kasper as the center, and then the rookie that was sent down in MBN.
Yeah.
That resulted in good as to what Bench Rates puts it as.
So can I just say something real quick, though? I think it's because of Michael Branzig-Nygaard, because that guy was all gas.
Yep.
All gas, led the team in hits. He was making himself known. He played hard, finished every single check, and as a result of that, it freed up Casper to have a little more offensive contributions. Patrick Kane is the complete opposite of Michael Branzig-Nygaard.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because the other line that he was average in is what Bench Rates put it as, was with Alex DeBrincat, Marco Kasper, and Patrick Kane, which is what we started off with this season. And we were all saying, yeah, it looks okay, but there's obviously something wrong here. With that being said, they also went on to say last year he played a lot with Raymond and Larkin. That, Emmett Finney, he did that with them as well this season. That's how he got a lot of his points, but not anymore. Their theory is that he has changed line mates and it's just difficult for him to adapt to the new conditions. And that's where it comes down to where it's so weird to say, Carlo, this team obviously has depth, but it's not good depth at all. Like even on the second line down, it's bottom 6 players galore. And I'm still going to pound on the table where eventually we will have to, whether if it's this season currently or going into the off season next season, just start bringing up as much kids as you can, because the league is going into that high octane, high flying, young stud type of player game that you really don't need Andrew Kops anymore. You don't need JT Compher's anymore. Even players like Rasmussen, Yanni Bergers, even players like those. Changes are going to have to be made if we want our young players to thrive. But in a nutshell, I think the best thing for Marco Kasper to do is either you put him back at that left wing one spot, or you put him back at the second center spot, and hopefully he figures it out. It's not like we were doing bad with him there. We went on a 5-game win streak after that first loss.
Or, this just popped in. Would you make a play to trade for Ryan O'Reilly? And he becomes your second line center. He's 34, making $4.5 million this season and next season. I would do that. I think Ryan O'Reilly is a step up from JT Compher.
How many more years left on his contract?
2 at 4.5. And it's Ryan O'Reilly, man. Like, isn't he top line center in Nashville right now? It's like now you can go play second line center with Kane and DeBrincat. I'd be considering that. That'd be interesting. Because I know that Nashville's, I don't know what they're doing, but I think they want to trade like everybody. Because they need to kind of rethink that offseason that they had where they were just handing out the Benjamins to all those players. But I don't know, man. It's something to think about, because if you're going to go and address that second line center for this season, and I'm not thinking of this like right now, Zach, but like if this team continues to play the way they're playing, they win some, they lose some, but they keep themselves afloat in the playoff race, and it gets close to trade deadline, and Casper's still in that slump. Like, if Casper doesn't earn his way back to second line, I think I'd be looking at Ryan O'Reilly. That would kind of be nasty. Low key.
What would it take to get someone like a Ryan O'Reilly, assuming that we more than likely, I mean, this is me thinking, I would love to either involve it with an Andrew Kopp, JT Compher. Would either of those two want to go to Nashville? Nashville is if you guys haven't been to Nashville, living there in general is wonderful. It's a great state, a really nice city in general. But both Andrew Kopp and JT Compher have clauses within their contract so they can somewhat dictate on where they go and where they don't want to go. So would either of those guys want to go there, and which one would you want to send? I think the easy answer would probably be JT Compher, because he has a longer contract. Andrew Kopp has more money within his contract. So you got to look at it from that.
Though, dude. They have really weak center depth.
So then with that, okay, what would you include? Just painting a hypothetical. Ryan O'Reilly, you're giving him either one of Andrew Kopp or JT Compher. You probably maybe have to give him a B-level prospect and then maybe a pick. What kind of pick would you feel comfortable with? But also at the same token, what you feel comfortable with probably doesn't always align with what you actually have to give up for someone like a Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, I'm not even going to guess. I'm staying away from this one. Let's hear what the people say. Put it in the comments, because I'm out. I'm out on this one. I don't know. It literally just popped in, and I'm like, you know what? This is interesting. We'll let the people decide on, what that package looks like, if it's even worth having. But let's hear it. Would you do it? Would you make a trade for Ryan O'Reilly? Yes or no? And if you would, what's it look like? What's going back to Nashville? I'm very curious. But anyways, I didn't mean to hijack our breakdowns of these games. It popped into my mind talking about Casper. But I think I can speak for both of us. We want him to obviously figure it out. We want him to still get supported by his teammates, like he says he is getting by his teammates. The support's there. We hope he figures it out. We hope he gets back in action. But don't be surprised if Stevie Y starts looking at some other teams to bring in a 2C, because JT Compher's not that guy, and it's very painful to go into each game with JT Compher as the second line center. He's just not capable of playing against those players in the NHL, second line players in the NHL. Go ahead.
And you actually make a really good point there, because now I just kind of popping into my head, that makes a lot of sense why they would bring up someone like an Eric Gustafsson, because it's no secret a lot of scouts have been going to those AHL games. It makes sense for him to get more reacclimated, I should say, with NHL speed, to where maybe there's a team out there that needs defensive help based on, like we mentioned, a lot of these teams are injured just within our division. Go ahead and look at the injury report for the rest of the league. Yeah. it's pretty bad. So knock on wood right now that the Red Wings are very fortunate that they only have 2 players out. I probably shouldn't have spoken it on this episode, but I did, and I apologize to everyone.
It's Zach's fault. You heard it here first. It's Zach's fault.
Kevin McKenna, you are a Detroit Red Wing. Yes.
No, man. Although we are only 1 point away. First in the Atlantic. I'm not going to stop saying it. First in the Atlantic, but also 1 point out of a wild card. It's just that nuts.
So wild.
That's crazy.
All right. Let's go ahead and move along because this is one of the games that I feel like we should talk about a little bit more extended. You'll talk about deployments. You also want to talk on John Gibson on this one. Cam Talbot started the 2 games previous to this, which was the right call. I was very surprised, but also at the same time, I'm not that John Gibson was the starter for this one. The Red Wings lost 5-0, Carlo. Complete utter failure by the team. There's really not much for me to talk on it. So go ahead and touch on John Gibson, what you noticed. You coined a phrase for him online. I know you want to call that out. And then talk about the defensive deployments a little bit more on this team like you did earlier.
Okay, so we'll start with the name because I'm going to reference it a few times. But we're going with glove side Johnny, folks. John Gibson in the 25-26 season, we are going to be calling him glove side Johnny. He needs to figure out how to hold his glove at the appropriate height because it was driving me absolutely insane. Okay, so here's the thing with what I was paying attention to, at least. Defensively, before we start going into John Gibson, we have to say this as preface. The defensive play from this team was non-existent. The amount of turnovers in the neutral zone were insane. Specifically, and this is the one that really, really started getting me on my nerves, was I think it was Andrew Kopp turned it over in the neutral zone. It was the last goal. What's his name? He put on a nice little deke, Shabanov.
Yep.
Andrew Kopp turns it over.
4.92. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No. He's sick. But Andrew Kopp passes it for some reason into his offensive zone, right to a New York Islander, who then dishes it off to Shabanov, who goes in on Mo and Ed, splits them, and lobs this soft backhander that, in my opinion, Gibson should have had that. And it was on his glove side. Glove side Johnny, thank you very much. The offense didn't help the defense. The defense didn't help Gibson. Gibson didn't help himself. It was just a complete, terrible performance by that entire team, top to bottom. And then there's John Gibson, finally. And just the one goal, I had it all over. I put a couple replays up. There's one picture I had that I put up as well. Brother, you might want to pull it up, dude, so people can understand what I'm saying. His eyes, like I could see the top of his helmet. Like I've always kind of not really loved John Gibson laterally, ever. I don't think he's a great lateral goaltender. But like when you're not a good lateral goaltender and you're also staring down and your glove is like you're not even in the frame, like you would think when you're coming across, like your glove is at your shoulder to take away and at least get up there. Like what are we doing here? He's looking at the ice. And his glove is touching his pad.
I'm just going to let this one in and I'm just going to be disappointed already.
Why is your glove touching your pad, dude? I played better positionally in street hockey when I was literally 12. I'm serious. I have witnesses, dude. I'll pull the receipts. This is, shout out my boy Darren, man, because we did some work back in the day. But look at that. What are we doing here? Why is your glove so low and why are you looking at the ice, brother? How are you going to stop a puck if you can't see it? That's all. That's all I'm saying. So listen, I hope somebody gets this picture and works on things positionally. Should John Gibson been in the position to be facing a one-timer? Because that's what that goal was. I think Eljo missed a slot pass and then he fired it into the net. It was Horvat. Fires it in off a one-timer. But I mean I've seen Talbot make those saves.
Right.
Like, yes. I've seen other goalies make these saves. I've seen other goalies play behind a really bad team and still keep them in it enough where they can squeak out a win. We're not getting any of that from Gibson. And after this game, by the way, Todd was very non-committal when reporters were asking him post-game about Gibson. I mean, obviously, the defensive play from the entire team was no good, but like, there's some goals you just need to have. There's some shots you just need to have. After this game, Zach, I don't think it is Gibson's crease anymore. Like, for example, you talked about how Gibson started this game after a day off. I think at this point, after a day off, it's Talbot's crease. and Gibson sees the back-to-back, or Gibson sees it again when Talbot, loses it. But I think it's Talbot's crease at this point, dude. It kind of has to be, considering the standings, right?
Yeah, and let's talk about Gibson as a whole in his tenure as a Detroit Red Wing. In the month of October, in his 7 starts, he went 4-3, a 3.32 goals against, and a 8.75 save percentage. Then you look at November in 3, in his 5 starts. So 2 games he didn't even really finish. Let's be clear on that.
Yep.
Or no, I lied. Sorry. He went 0-3-1. So he had an overtime loss. 17 goals against.
He missed 1 third period.
Right? He got pulled, I think. Or it was the game that he got injured in. So a 3.67 goals against and 8.62 save percentage. So just slightly worse, but still egregious. What are you doing, my dude? It's just really bad. And then you get the folks online, some, not all, that are saying it's very tough for us to say that it's John Gibson's fault. Sure, you can put, like you just did, Carlo, you put pressure on the defense. The defense was not there that game. However, I will defend John Gibson a little bit. 3 of the 5 goals were deflected in. The offense didn't show up this game.
Yeah.
So regardless if those deflected goals did not go in, you still would have lost 2-0. You probably would have lost 3-0 with an empty netter. You can still place blame on John Gibson for this game, just as much as the other 3 losses that he had in this game and the 3 losses that he had in October. I would say that the wins that we got with him in October, there was only 1 game where he was lights out, and that was the second game that he started, and that was against it wasn't the second game overall, but it was his second start against the Tampa Bay Lightning, where we won 2-1 in overtime. That was probably his best game. Other than that, he's let in his fair amount of goals, and they've all looked really bad. And I agree with you, Cam Talbot, it's his net until otherwise. John Gibson is one of those goalies, too, that you went out and acquired him with the 2nd round pick. I think we added like a 4th too or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you traded away Peter Mrazek, who also isn't having the greatest season. John Gibson needs to figure it out, because what ends up hurting the Red Wings down the stretch once we get closer into trade deadline territory is that goaltending diminishes. So if John Gibson can figure it out by then and be the 50 game starter that I wanted him to be, I hope he figures it out. I hope that's the case. But it's not looking good. And this is where, Carlo, believe it or not, there are people out there that think we don't criticize Steve Yzerman. I'm going to criticize him a little bit. You could have kept Alex Lyon, who is actually looking pretty decent with the Buffalo Sabres right now.
And
instead of trading for someone like John Gibson.
Yeah, and that 2nd round pick still ours.
Yep.
John Mrazek, Peter Gibson, brother. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between these 2 guys. I don't know what the difference is between these 2 guys. Like, I thought we were getting John Gibson. He was going to come in, be rejuvenated. Listen, this is pure speculation. John Gibson looks like he misses home very, very much. He just looks like, I don't want to say he's disinterested, but he looks like he is missing something. And I think it's home. I think he misses the West Coast because he just looks off. There's something that does not look right. And that's it, man. That's all I got about Glove Side Johnny. That's the Glove Side Johnny segment today, folks. Let us know what you think and if we should bring it back. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not fun to talk about. I hope he gets it figured out. I hope he gets the work he needs to get it figured out. But until then, it's Tam. I was going to say Tam Calbert. It's Tam Calbert's crease, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good one. No, it is, though. It really is. I don't know how again, look at the standings. How can it not be? We need him. It just worries me because are we going to really bank on this guy to play over 40 games?
Yeah, 38-year-old goaltender.
That's the thing that worries me. So, don't be surprised if Gibson doesn't get it together, which I would honestly be surprised. I think Gibson will eventually work it out. But if he doesn't, don't be surprised if you see, a Sebastian Kosa or a Postava come up to relieve Talbot, because Talbot can't play more than 40 games. It's not, I don't think it's doable, and we're not going to get the Talbot we're getting today in 40 games from now when he's playing and starting. So if Gibson, that's my hot take. If Gibson doesn't get it figured out, which again, I do think he will, But if he doesn't, I think you're going to see Kosa and or Postava pop up to relieve Talbot a little bit.
Let's touch on that a little bit more, because after that egregious loss, there were plenty of people saying it's high time that we call up a Sebastian Cossa.
Yeah, I did see that. You got the Tam Calbit bug.
Yeah, I did. Whatever you had, you sent it through the computer screen over here. So yeah, Sebastian Cossa, yeah, or Postava, I would agree with you. When do you believe? And I don't think it's right now. If you were to send down John Gibson through waivers, I believe someone's going to claim him.
Would they? Dude, he's got worse numbers than Skinner in Edmonton.
I get that, but you also look at the Detroit. I just don't think that the Detroit Red Wings defense as a whole is the greatest. I also don't think that our bottom six is exactly the greatest either. So if there is a team out there that has enough money to take on that sort of cap, I can see a team going out there and getting him. I actually
6.4.
However, when do you think, if the trend continues with John Gibson, we allow Cam Talbot to keep on taking the crease, John Gibson, he gets a start here and there and just continues not getting us wins, keeps on letting in these soft goals, let's call them. When would you expect Steve Yzerman to pull the trigger on calling up a Kossa or a Postava?
I think Gibson has 5 more games.
Whew.
Of him playing. I'm not saying the next 5 games.
Right.
I'm saying of Gibson playing. I don't know when Gibson's going to play again. I know we have a back-to-back coming up, so it's obviously going to be there. But I think if we're going to see a Kossa call-up, it'll be before Christmas. I'll say that.
All right, that was going to be my next question. So if you had a timeline for it, so around there, and I would agree with you. I think it would probably be either right before or right after Christmas time, personally to me. And that seems to be something that Steve Yzerman likes to do. We saw that with Tom McClellan. He got hired right around that time. Yeah. Wouldn't it be out of the ordinary for Steve Yzerman to make a call-up like that? And Kossa's having one hell of a season for the Grand Rapids Griffins. So
great numbers.
Him and Postava both. And we saw when both of them were injured, Carter Guylander got called up. He didn't look out of the ordinary in the AHL, actually. So for us to call up one of those two and supplement and Carter Guylander for the AHL, I don't think the Griffins are really going to be missing that much.
If Kossa got called up and Postava becomes the starter with Guylander in the back, I have no problem with that.
No, and I don't think the Griffins would either.
No, absolutely not. Even if it was Postava that got called up for whatever reason, and it was Kossa Guylander, 0 issues. I think they have a starter in both Postava and Kossa. They have a starting goaltender, a capable starting goaltender for the A. They got to bring him up and get him some games, and I just think it's gonna happen. Gibson, if Gibson doesn't get it figured out, it has to happen. Look at the standings. The standings right now are dictating everything. It's a racehorse. It's the Kentucky Derby. It's the Atlantic Derby. Okay, it's what it is. You need to do whatever it takes to stay present in this race that you're currently in, first in. You got to do what you got to do to stay there. You have to. I don't care. You have to.
Hey, and we've seen it plenty of times in seasons past where a team just calls up a goalie. And I hate to use this player as an example, but Carter Hart, and there's probably plenty of other examples. I mean, you even look like players like Jesper Wallstedt, who's now looking phenomenal for the Minnesota Wild. You got
him up in fantasy, over there, buddy. His last week has been insane for me.
Then you got Askarov over there with San Jose. It's obviously a roller coaster because that's a super young, high-octane team. You're going to have those types of up and downs. Yep. So I will agree with you. Eventually, you have to bring up Kossa and give him more than the one stint. And it was a fluke accident that he was even actually able to play that game and got that weird historic stat. The first goalie to ever get a win by relief in overtime. Right?
Well, dude, the other thing too, like this is Cam Talbot's last year. So you have to bring Kossa up at some point to so you can make a good decision on what you're going to do with Cam Talbot, right? I know he's a little bit older, but he looks like he could still be relevant and play. He's doing it for us right now. So if you need to make a decision on Cam Talbot on whether or not you're going to bring him back for another year, you got to get Kossa some games. And I think now's the perfect time.
And you bring up a good point
in the next 4 weeks.
And you bring up a good point that I'm now going to. We now turn this into a goalie segment, and I actually do like this. This wasn't pegged on the board, but we're going to keep going into it a little bit more. Peter Mrazek was a player that we traded for that had still term left on his contract. We ended up trading him away. If John Gibson, for whatever reason, does not figure it out for the rest of the season, I do see a world. It's small percentage chance right now, but I do see a world where we could move on from John Gibson, re-sign someone like Cam Talbot, because now my question is going to be asked, Carlo, who would you rather be the quote-unquote mentor for Sebastian Cossa if Cossa was to be the backup or the 1B guy for the Detroit Red Wings next season? Because for me, right now, it's Cam Talbot, not John Gibson.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. Kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Kind of it has to be. What are you learning from John Gibson? How to move across laterally, keep your eyes and glove down? Don't want you learning that, buddy. No chance. That was an ugly look.
Yep. I would agree with you there. So hopefully John Gibson can figure it out. Let us know down in the comments if you are hitting the panic button on John Gibson and everything else that we just alluded to during that segment of this episode. And I'm throwing things right now. Carlo, let's go ahead and touch on the game that just happened yesterday, the 1 p.m. game, the matinee game, where the Detroit Red Wings won in overtime against the Blue Jackets 4-3. This game at first was no bueno. You had Adam Fantilli opening it up with a power play goal. Going into the second, Lucas Raymond, filthy, absolute filthy goal. And I will say that he should be someone that should be highlighted by the NHL this week, because not only for the New York Rangers game, but in this game as well, much like how Alex DeBrincat was for last week's performance.
Can I get everybody fired up real quick? I want to get everybody fired up. The goal Raymond scored against Seattle was a Henrik Zetterberg-esque patience is a virtue goal. The goal he scored against Columbus was a Pavel Datsyuk style goal. That was so sick, nasty. We're seeing Raymond show a little flash in the pan of a little Z, a little Datsyuk. It is so sweet to watch. Raymond is him. That's the tweet.
Some would say Himothy for sure.
Boom.
I would agree. He's getting a lot of looks from, NHL fans throughout the league. There's always obviously been those comparisons with him and Tim Stützle because they were in the same draft class, one pick apart. Both players are very phenomenal, but I'm loving all the hype around Lucas Raymond and what the league is noticing out of him. And Carlo, would it be wrong for us to say that Lucas Raymond is the best player on the Detroit Red Wings currently right now? We did touch on this earlier, but before recording, go ahead and touch on it.
I don't know about that, dude. Right now?
Right now. Currently.
I still think it's Alex DeBrincat, dude. I think Raymond's making a case. But if I look at the entire season, which I know is not right now, but if I look at the entire season, it's Alex DeBrincat, bar none. If I look at the last couple of weeks, I still think it's Alex DeBrincat, dude. The way he's back checking, like he is playing like and I know he said it, he thinks he should be on that team. And we're talking about the U.S. Olympic team.
He should be.
100% he should be. I think we should definitely see a line with him and Larkin and then Matt Boldy or something. That'd be nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, because I'm going for Canada for obvious reasons. Right. But anyways, Celebrini for Canada should be making that team because that kid's just nuts. But I think right now it's still Alex DeBrincat, dude. I think Raymond's coming in clutch. I think Raymond's making a case, but DeBrincat's got a little bit of an extra gear on him, I think. That's just me. What do you think?
It's so tough. I'm kind of 50-50 on it because they're just both so good. I made the comment earlier that both of these players are part of the core four of this team. If we didn't have Lucas Raymond, Alex DeBrincat more than likely would have an A on this team. If we wanted to have 3 A's on this team, the next player would be Alex DeBrincat, bar none.
Has to be.
I think the only reason why I would give the edge to Lucas Raymond is because when have we ever seen Lucas Raymond get bumped off of the first line? And it's not to discredit Alex DeBrincat. It's actually to benefit the other lines.
Yeah, I was going to say, DeBrincat gets bumped off to help Patrick Kane because Patrick Kane is not Patrick Kane anymore, guys. Like,
and that's where I'm still 50-50 at with it. So it's very tough for me to say, but maybe it's because I have that sweet spot for Lucas Raymond. I don't know, but I slightly just want to give it to Lucas Raymond. But I can't disagree with you with what the comments you made about Alex DeBrincat. The way he back checks, his size on top of that too. Like he plays like he's 6'6".
It's amazing.
5'9".
It's amazing. He's been my
unreal.
favorite Red Wing. He's been my favorite Red Wing this season because of the way he's playing. And this isn't a shot at Raymond by any means.
No.
But the tenacity that DeBrincat plays with, the chip on his shoulder, the right to prove, like he's playing the type of hockey that I personally love. If the puck's not on his stick, he's going through absolutely every single emotion to get it back on his stick.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is on his stick, he's putting it in the net. So that's why for me, it's him, but it could go either way. It really could, right? I'm sure a lot of people have, differing opinions and really, really good, talking points to support it. And there's no wrong answer here. There's definitely more than one truth here. But yeah, I mean, I want to see DeBrincat on that U.S. Olympic team so bad now. Boy.
Yeah. Also, this is no discredit to Dylan Larkin. Obviously, him playing center, he's the number one center of this team. He is the captain. So he obviously plays the harder position out of these players that we mentioned. However, I think what we both mentioned, it's an easy sell. You can make the argument. You can have a debate over it. So let us know down in the comments who you think the best player currently is on the Detroit Red Wings. We would love to hear from you guys. But going back into this Columbus Blue Jackets game, Carlo, after that Lucas Raymond goal, we're down 3-1. In the third period, Zach Werenski scored it. OT Benny Sherratt, contract year, the overnight assassin, Sherratt, makes it a 1-goal game, makes it 3-2, assisted by Patrick Kane, Moritz Seider, and then Moritz Seider, bada boom, bada bang. We need to see him doing that stuff more often on the blue line, ripping the puck to secure a goal into the net to tie the game, assisted by Finney and none other than Nate Danielson as well. And then the Kaner shuffle, Alex DeBrincat scoring in overtime, winning it 4-3, assisted by OT Benny Sherratt and Patrick Kane. How about that, though? And the Wings win.
Has Ben even played overtime at all this season? That was I think that might have been his first time that I heard him on the ice. I don't know, but good for him. He played because it's always been ASP and Mo in OT. I don't know if Ben's even played an OT shift. That could have been his first, but keep us honest. But I just want to back up to that Moritz Seider goal 1 sec. I want to shout out the man, the myth, the legend. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Ken Cal. Listen. I'm pledging right now that I'm gonna listen to, keyword listen to, at least 10 more games fully on the radio with none other than Ken Cal.
Let's make it a trend.
Dude, it was so nostalgic, number one. He's unreal on his calls. Unbelievable. I was driving through the county listening to Ken Cal, and I was fortunate enough to hear him call Seider's goal. If I didn't have lane assist in my truck, I would be dead. I would not be here today. I was losing my mind, losing it. And that's because of Ken Cal's, dude, we're so spoiled, whether it's Ken Daniels on the TV making the call, or if it's Ken Cal on the radio making the call. If the Wings score, you are just, it is euphoric. Both those Kens kill it. So I just wanted to shout him out real quick. Go listen to a game on the radio. Please do it. It is unbelievable. Go in your car, go for a drive, and listen to the game. There's nothing like it, dude. It was unreal. Highlight of my day yesterday. It was awesome. And the fact that I went to my buddy's house, that's where I was driving to for an unreal dinner. So shout out to my boy Shoddy, man. That was unreal. But Moritz Seider's call on the way there, it was the most perfect afternoon ever. It was awesome. Ken Cal.
And Carlos,
listen to him.
Segment is sponsored by Lane Assist. Drive safe. Don't get into car accidents.
Drive safe. 2 hands on the wheel, folks. 10-2. 10-2. 10-2. That's all I can say. Maybe put a knee up a little bit just to really torque that wheel so it's not moving.
Now he's just giving bad ideas. Lane Assist is no longer sponsoring this part of Carlos' segment here. You know what's funny about that too, Carlo, is that I've had that conversation with my dad. Because I'm just going to shout this out now. I probably should have said this at the start of the episode. Monday, November 24th. So tomorrow, we're recording on Sunday for those that may catch this later on. We will be on the radio with Sports Intel Ryan Walsh on Jethro.fm. So if you guys can catch that, you can find that on our social medias. We put the link on there and everything. So go ahead and catch us. We will be on there at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But talking about it with my dad, shout out to my dad if you are watching this episode or listening. I appreciate you as always. Yeah, I think it's easy to say we were probably the very few and last generation that really listened to the radio. I grew up with listening like Dave and Chuck the Freak, Mojo in the
Yeah,
Morning, and then like
totally.
all the hit songs that would come out. And especially during summertime, it was the best. And no one really listens to the radio anymore. So let's make that a trend actually for Ken Cal, because I would agree with you that he's probably severely underappreciated and underrated within
100%.
not even just the NHL, but within the Detroit Red Wings fan base. So let's make that a trend. If everyone can go ahead and start listening to him on the radio, it's electric. And, I think that's why when the Detroit Red Wings post a lot of these goals now, that they're including Ken Cal's voice for these goals because of how fantastic of a job that he's doing.
It is electric. You nailed it. And yes, the Wings are definitely incorporating his play-by-play a little bit more. We're spoiled, like I said. Ken Daniels, Ken Cal, I've been listening to these guys since I can remember. Blessed to be able to continue to listen to these guys well into adulthood too, because I'm trying not to be biased, but I really don't think there's better callers out there, better play-by-play guys out there. I really don't think there is. And it was a treat, man. It brought me back, put a smile on my face. It's like as soon as I put on 97.1 and I heard him going, I just started smiling, and within, 3-4 minutes, Siders tied it up, and I was losing it. It was a great ride. But yeah, watch it, listen to it. Actually, no, don't watch it. Listen to it, and get Ken Cal pumping through your speakers, man, because it's just awesome. Such a treat. Thank you, Ken Cal. You're the man.
And if you are watching or listening to us, Ken Cal, because you can do both. If you are watching or listening to us, come on the pod. We'd love to have you on.
Oh,
obviously,
man, that'd be a
busy
highlight.
season.
That'd be a highlight. That'd be an all year season, whatever you want to call it. That would be an all time high of an episode, man. That'd be great.
All time season high record for sure for us.
For all of them.
As always, we're obviously blessed with the opportunity to do what we do. We truly do this for not just ourselves. I know a lot of people seem to think that, but we do this for Detroit Red Wings fans alike. And obviously we want to spread not our wealth of knowledge, but the excitement, we
don't have any of that.
The fire, the passion that comes with being a Detroit Red Wing fan.
Yeah.
Speaking with other fans. So let us know down in the comments what you guys thought about this episode. Before we wrap it up, Carlo, I think this is a good stopping point. So you want to give the folks your final thoughts? I really don't have anything other than let's go Red Wings, keep winning. If we lose more than 2 games, we're 8th in the division. So keep winning as much as you can. Cam Talbot's a starter moving forward.
What a crazy thing to say and realize. But no, dude, final thoughts. I mean, hey, we got a big Lions game coming up in a little bit here. So go Lions.
Yep.
And we got a big game tomorrow, 7 p.m. against the New Jersey Devils. Very similar record to ours. So yeah, go Wings on that one. And let's pay attention to the defensive deployment tomorrow. I want to see how that goes. We are on the road, so I want to see how it goes even more because we're on the road. We just finished that 3-game homestand, so or was it a 4-game homestand? No, 3-game homestand, right? New York was in New York, so yeah, the Devils. We're gonna be in their building. Pay attention to what that looks like, and like I said, let's go Red Wings. Let's get a dub. Let's stay number 1 in the Atlantic. Let's not fall back, and let's pay attention to the horses that are right next to us, but also right behind us at the same time. So we got to stay hungry. We got to stay going. And in Todd, we trust. I think that's a great spot to wrap up my final thought. I'll flip it over to you, my man.
Yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap it up, Carlo. Thanks for joining us once again on this brand new episode of Hockeytown Rundown. If you are returning, if you are brand new and still stayed with us to the tail end of this episode, we truly do appreciate it. If you are watching or listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and rate us 5 stars. Hit the follow button as well. You can find us on all the major social media platforms, the Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, all those places. And with that being said, Carlo, you know where to find us. Let's go Red Wings. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir.
Love you. See ya. Goodbye.
Later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Later, Skater. Goodbye.